An edgelord thrill-seeking YouTuber is facing 5 years in prison in India for attempting to access a forbidden island. We're going to get into that case today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. And this is a very, very interesting case as it takes place in my neck of the woods over here in Asia on the Andaman Sea, which I've had a nice chance to visit over on nice peaceful islands like Kolipe, etc. The very beautiful part of the world. But our defendant here today, YouTuber Mykhailo Polyakov, aka Neo-Orientalist on YouTube, is facing 5 years in prison after his third attempt to reach this forbidden island. So let's get into my opening statements. Mykhailo Polyakov, aka the Neo-Orientalist, illegally entered the prohibited North Sentinel Island area to contact an isolated Sentinelese tribe. Now, he had failed attempts in October 2024, January 2025, and this led up to the arrest in March of 2026. So let's take a look at the island itself, North Sentinel Island. It's located, as you see, west of Thailand, east of India, south of Myanmar. It's part of India. It's under Indian jurisprudence, so he's falling under Indian law here. Now, it is an absolutely beautiful and spectacular area of the world. If you ever have a chance to visit one of the islands you can access that's not prohibited, the many islands of the Andaman Sea, I would highly recommend that. But this is one that is not recommended, and it's not recommended, in fact prohibited, for very, very, very good reason. And the reason behind that is because, well, it's bad for the locals and bad for anybody who goes there. So it is illegal for anyone, Indians or foreigners, to travel within 5 kilometers of the island. That's the law. The issue is that because this isolated Sentinelese tribe has not had contact with anyone else, they've been isolated, completely isolated. In fact, the most isolated tribe in the world. Because of that, any disease that you may have that we commonly have, they have no immune defense from that. You're going to wipe out the entire island community from a simple common cold. The other thing is, and perhaps more importantly, or just as importantly rather, is that anybody who visits that island has a history of being unalived. And the most recent case and most prominent case was a missionary, John Allen Chau. There was actually a movie made about John Allen Chau. He believed this was the last refuge of Satan on the earth, and he had a mission from God to go there. He actually role-played in the U.S. with fellow missionaries holding spears, pretending to be hostile tribesmen going to the island. And he attempted to go to the island 3 times. The first time, there was some hostility. He ran away. The second time, they shot an arrow at him, and it pierced his Bible, and he survived and got away. But on the third attempt, the arrow found its mark, and he was unalived and buried on that beach. So once again, this just happened in 2018. There's a history of this happening and a history of people not returning from that island. And that is indeed the allure that draws people like the thrill seekers here and like the Neo-Orientalist on YouTube. Now, if you look at this guy's YouTube, you can see the very psyche of the type of person that does this. He goes to places like Taliban-controlled Afghanistan and other places that are considered quote-unquote taboo, trying to get clicks from doing something that is not common or thrill-seeking or edgy. Oh, you're not supposed to go there. It's dangerous. Okay, I'm going to go and do this anyways. Now, one thing that perhaps emboldened him was going to Taliban-controlled Afghanistan and going into certain places that were even culturally prohibited in Afghanistan. For example, when he entered this particular garden, it's noted in his own video on his YouTube channel that he had to conceal the identity because it's banned under religious cultural practices. So foreigners, outsiders, are banned from going there, and even insiders are only going there at certain times. So getting away with these cultural norms, getting away with it, emboldened him to go again and again. And this is one theme we see with nuisance streamers, particularly people like Johnny Somali, when they get no punishment, or as you're going to see, if they get a slap on the wrist, they are going to continue to do it. That's why you need to push for a strong punishment for these people. So looking at his time, he actually spent time in an Indian jail. And you'd think, well, that's even worse than the Korean jail that Johnny Somali is sitting in right now, that would have deterred him. It, in fact, did not. And one thing that he tried to do was go out there and actually bribe the fishermen to get into the island. And many of them even refused that.
going well, I slyly attempted to bribe the crew to take me to North Sentinel.
Attempt number 2 is an abject failure. The staff of the fishing boat were absolutely unbribable, uncorruptible, uncraven, non-venal. I'll be back. I'm gonna try again. I'll look into my options. I'm down, but I'm not out yet.
So even when he's not able to bribe people, which once again, he's taking advantage of these poor fishermen, of these poor people out there to break the law and to bribe them and try to corrupt them in order to do things. This is not him getting out of a speeding ticket. This is not him, in some minor infraction he's bribing his way out of. This is to break a law that actually has serious consequences, and he's engaging in this behavior very knowingly. And it's very clear from his videos that despite even being jailed, this is not going to stop him. He's going to continue to make attempts until he gets to this island.
Yeah, so I got in their boat, we pulled my kayak in, and I accepted defeat at this point, but I have a different plan. That was just attempt number 1. We're gonna mix it up, see what's viable, but I'm not done until I'm done.
And that's the point we got to bring home here. He's not done until he's done, and he needs to be done on the side of the law rather than at the side of an arrow, right? Those are the two sides, or the side of wiping out an entire community. Very bad as well, right? So there's death all abound, death wiping out an entire community, him dying. Right? That's also, all these things are bad. All these things are not good, right? So these things are absolutely on the board here in this case. And as you can see here, once again, from the news, you see that he knew what he was doing here, because this first attempt was actually covered when he was caught. He received a slap on the wrist. He went to the island. He left a Diet Coke. He received a punishment there for that, but that was not enough. And a lot of these countries are taking things far too lightly with foreigners, with tourists, and not punishing them harshly enough for breaking clear laws, especially when they've been warned. And that brings me to my judgment. So in judgment, I am very, very much pro maximum sentence. He's facing up to 5 years in prison and fines. He had full knowledge of the illegality and of the repeated attempts, the danger of the island. You can see that from his very own YouTube video.
Getting dangerously close to the coast right now.
And not only that, but encouraging this sort of behavior is very bad, because there will be nuisance streamer copycats pouring out to do all sorts of illegal activities through bribery, through corruption, etc., through breaking of local laws all around the world. And so therefore, I think this thing needs to be nipped in the bud, hit with a hard sentence, and said, hey, look, just because you're a foreigner, just because you're someone from abroad, doesn't mean you can bribe your way out. You can get out of these situations. And if the Indian government and the Indian justice system wants to look fair, wants to look non-corrupt, wants to look like it is administering proper justice, I think they should give him the maximum possible sentence. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.